This videotape was prepared to encourage school administrators to follow industry's lead and use videocassette networks to transfer information and to train employees. The videotape was used at the Council of School Administrators Conference at Grossinger's Hotel on October 7, 1974. Following his videotaped remarks, Commissioner Umbach was present to answer questions.
Welcome to the inside of a cassette. As you can see, it was an easy change. Let's look together at the uses of the video cassette in 5 different examples of learning. The material now playing will look familiar to you if you're a regular television watcher. It looks like a typical commercial for an automobile, in this case a Ford Torino. Let's watch for a few seconds.
Here is one of the reasons why you may feel the Torino ride is so quiet. Insulation and soundproofing materials are applied in several areas, a total of 13 areas on the Gran Torino, Brougham, and Squire models. This cutaway view shows you the completeness of the sound insulation application, which provides an effective sound barrier to help reduce road and engine noise and add to the Torino's quiet ride. There's a lot of hand craftsmanship in the building of a Torino. If the one you order has a vinyl roof, it's tailored to your car. The fit is precise, and quality checks help assure that the vinyl is wrinkle-free. While the body is being put together and trimmed, other things are taking place. When they come together, they result in the completed Torino.
As you may have guessed already, this is no typical television commercial. It's already been running for more than a minute and would ordinarily continue for a total of 10 minutes. This is a promotional and informational piece produced and designed to be delivered through a cassette player in a dealer's showroom. It describes in great detail the features of the car and is intended for the instruction of the dealer and the salesman, and of course the persuasion of the customer. It's one example of many in which large businesses with retail outlets across the nation and the world are processing and transferring information and training materials through the video cassette. These materials are produced through a new kind of television network that uses the mails instead of microwave and satellites. The video cassette networks already are developing their own names. The network name will probably be new to you. Government agencies also have a constant challenge of improving information transfer to the field. The video cassette is beginning to play a role in solving these problems. Using the same post office-based networking principle and the simplicity of cassette operation, information on new policies or agency practices can be transmitted for use in meetings or by individuals whenever it's convenient to play the tape.
Unearned and excluded. The first of these categories, earned income, is treated more liberally under H.R. 1 than under previous regulations in order to encourage self-support and rehabilitation efforts on the part of the person receiving aid. In the case of an aged individual or couple, $65 a month and 1/2 of any added amount the individual or couple earns is disregarded before deductions on a dollar-for-dollar basis begin to be made from their basic payment. Earned income, by the way, is defined as wages and earnings from self-employment. A disabled individual or couple receives an even greater incentive under H.R. 1. Not only are the first $65 of earned income and 1/2 of the remainder disregarded when the basic payment is computed, but also any necessary and reasonable expenses involved in the person's earning a living or learning to earn one. For the blind, the first $85 of earned income, plus 1/2 of the remainder, plus work expenses, plus the cost of the self-support plan are disregarded. The second category into which H.R. 1 divides income, that is any income which cannot be considered under the law to be earned. Pensions are considered unearned income, also railroad survivors' benefits, disability insurance and workmen's compensation, interest and dividends, rent, gifts and awards, and support payments.
This cassette was produced by the New York State Department of Social Services and is intended for the information and training of field staff, who in this case need to know the technical ramifications of a new law providing specialized benefits to a particular segment of the community. The subject of the presentation is the question of who qualifies for aid and how to compute the fair share of benefits for each client. I'm sure you noticed the difference in production techniques between the two tapes. The social services tape doesn't have the professional announcer of the Ford tape. It was produced on a low budget using state facilities, in fact, the very ones in which I'm now being recorded, and uses persons from the social services agency. Copies of the cassettes are sent to field offices where department employees need the information for keeping current in their work. I'm showing you this tape to demonstrate that the cassette networking principle does not require extensive and expensive production. Since it's private and operates only within a target audience, production complexity need only be sufficient to assure that the message is received. You are well familiar with courses and seminars designed to improve management skills. These are offered by the AASA, by your own New York organization, and others. Let's look at a different format for such learning. The simplicity and the durability of the cassette has given rise to the formation of commercial enterprises which provide all kinds of training and educational materials in this format. At least one company in New York City provides such materials on both an in-house and a take-out basis. You may elect to come to a learning center where you are provided with cassettes, courses, and your own carrel in which to study. Or you may use the materials at the office or home. The program on now is part of a cassette course on business management. It features Peter Drucker, an individual whose observation and writings on organizations and management are well familiar. In the piece we're showing you, a set of typical 1974 management problems are dramatized through an episode or critical incident. A large corporation which has made its money and reputation on transformers has begun to move into a new line of mini-computers. Suddenly, word comes that a Japanese firm is challenging the transformer business. The drama occurs when the whole corporation is turned into chaos by a presidential decision to drop development of the new product in order to turn attention to meet the Japanese challenge on the old one. At several points, Drucker drops into the drama and exchanges ideas on the situation with the characters. Then he turns away from the scene to reflect on the significance of what is happening and comment on general management concepts.
There are three main lessons in this little morality tale we just saw. The first one is don't ever put a half man on a job. If a job is worth doing, it's worth the full time of a good man. If you put a man on and then say, well, Charlie is a good man and he can also do this and that and the other thing, you have made practically certain that Charlie won't do anything. And above all, don't try to split people between concern for today and concern for tomorrow. That converts tomorrow into mañana immediately. It can always be postponed, and yesterday is always urgent. And the second lesson is very simply run with success. Don't ever say, as Lansing did, it's always been our intention to build this department slowly if the new product is running away with the market. That's a way to build the competition. If a new product starts moving and moving fast, give it all you have and run. That is what you have been working for. And finally, don't try to minimize risk. Your job is to maximize opportunity. Of course, the future is always risky. But there are no results in the past, even though there are no risks in the past. If you want results, you've got to choose the right risks. And if you want to make the future, you've got to focus on tomorrow.
This tape is part of an entire series of 26 tapes by Peter Drucker, a most interesting way to take a course in business or school management. Another thing interesting about this cassette is that it gives me an opportunity and you an opportunity to see what Drucker looks and sounds like after so many years of reading his works. The mastery of typewriting skills is the subject of our next cassette sample. This has proven to be effective instruction for the more than 6 years of its life in schools throughout the state. Originally produced for broadcast, it later became one of those many pieces of educational materials that found increased utility after conversion to cassette format.
To type the attention line, and it will be the same as you see it on your letter. You'll type attention, colon, 2 spaces, junior counselor, and then remove your envelope. Begin. Put your envelope to one side. We'll use it very shortly to practice folding and inserting a letter inside this envelope.
The program has been developed as a self-instructional tool, which means that it can be used without an instructor in residence. It is being used today in our own department's Self-Learning Resources Center to improve the typing skills of our stenographic staff who may elect to take it during work hours. A cassette player, a receiver, student manual, and typewriter is all the course requires. I should add that the teacher in this series is Miss Nancy Pline, a member of the Education Department staff in the Bureau of Educational Communications. The last cassette sample is one with which some of you should be familiar. It has been tested in the classrooms of several New York districts. For those of you who do not yet know of the program, let me summarize its purpose by saying it is a product of the department's research and development effort to assist the schools to achieve greater efficiency in the performance of instruction and school operation. Of course, its technological foundation is the capability of the video cassette.
Here, supply 4th grade instruction for part of the school day.
The Place of Doors brings a unique technological resource into the school.
It is a complete educational resource, an organized, systematized package ready for immediate use. Our lessons rely heavily on film.
Oh, film. I just love film. It's so interesting. What else, Lisa?
Well, we use film strips. These are some pictures we used in our ecology lesson on the food chain.
Film strips. Very good.
And graphics and animation.
Gee, you sure feed a lot of different things into the program, Lisa. Thanks.
You're welcome. Now that we've seen what goes into the Place of Doors, let's see what a child gets out of this kind of learning situation. 2 hours of their day is spent here with us. The lessons come on video cassettes like this one, or the one you're watching right now. The program can be fed to more than one classroom at the same time. Each classroom receiving the program is equipped with 2 color television sets. A monitor or guide is present in the room at all times. The activities are an extremely important part of our system and give the child a unique sense of participation with what is happening here at the Place of Doors. The activities even include daily physical exercises.
You will be seeing a bit more of the Place of Doors shortly. You've just seen 5 different examples of learning through video cassette technology. I've tried to indicate the simplicity and yet versatility of this technology for learning different types of information by different age groups in a variety of settings. Let me join you live once again to look more closely at the use of this technology in the classroom.